Tony, good morning. Tony, you're muted at this point in time.
Hey Dave, I think you're maybe muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. We have Tony here as well. He's signed in this morning. And now
Good.
we have you, so we've got two.
Yeah, well, we're early, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I want to
So,
make sure that
well,
everything was working okay.
I'm impressed that you got it going. I guess I'm supposed to do this next week. I've been observing but not doing.
It's a whole different world.
I'm I'm glad you got it working. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get myself some iced tea. I guess we got a few minutes
Yeah,
yet.
we've got about 15 minutes.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
We won't start without you. How's that?
Not necessary.
Hello, Jim.
Hi there. How are you?
So far, so good.
Good, good, good.
We
We
have one
have,
participant.
we got Anthony on. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we haven't seen Sylvia yet, right?
No, have not.
Okay. Oh, hello.
Greetings. You're Barbara?
I'm Barbara. I'm with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library.
Oh, I was hoping you would show up.
Hey,
You were in my memo. I've been looking to see you.
excellent.
Thank you for taking time out to do this with us. It's very important to those that are participating to know about the resources that you provide, Barbara. So thank you so much.
I will change my name so that you'll know that I'm with the library.
Barbara, have you done this before?
I have.
Okay, so you know you'll be coming on after the presenter. Okay.
Right. Could you make sure that I have the ability to share my screen, please?
Sure.
You should be able to, but David, if you go down to share and you click on that little arrow to the right of that, it should say one participant can share at a time. So she should be able to do it.
Okay, I've got it.
Test it now while you got time.
I've got that checked.
Yeah. So Barbara, go ahead and try to share your screen. You should be good.
Hold on a second. Let me grab my thing. You were ready before I was. Hold on a sec. And it says sharing is not turned on, so I'm going to send a request.
Okay, and I will allow.
Try again. And
Go.
does that look like a library thing?
It
It sure
does.
does.
I think it works.
Yay, thank you. I'll take that back off.
Thank
And
you for testing that out.
thank you.
You may have to,
I will stop sharing.
we may have to do the same thing with Sylvia when she jumps on.
Okay.
So Barbara, we haven't met. My name is Jim Ciccarello. I'm with SCORE Charlotte.
Nice.
And Jane Valancourt, who you might have known, is no longer with the chapter. She's inactive at this time. So I am the webinar, well, I'm the chapter chair, but also the acting interim webinar manager for now. So just coordinating with all these webinars. And we'll be meeting with Yolanda later on in the month to talk about some other things. Any
Okay.
chance that you could send me your deck? I'd like to take a look at
Absolutely.
the deck that before I actually talk to Yolanda.
Do you want me? Do you
I
want
will
me?
I can put my email in the chat
Okay.
for you. Let's see. I'll just do it. Host and panelist. One of our goals is to try to do this in a shorter time frame. You know, these have been
Okay.
taking a little too long. We think we lose some people at the end, so we're trying to streamline. So we've got some folks in Charlotte working on trying to streamline our deck, and we'd also
Gotcha.
like to look at the library's deck as well.
Sure.
Thank you.
No worries.
Our session this morning might be very, very short if we don't have a presenter, Jim.
Well, that's part of the reason why I'm on. If she doesn't show, I think she will, but if she doesn't, I will jump in and do the presentation.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you guys were the presenters, no?
No, Sylvia Glaston is the Glanton, I'm sorry, is our presenter today. And we've got, again, Peter is on. He's actually training to be a moderator, and this is actually Dave's first rodeo, so he's kind enough to might be moderating today. And so yeah, we're a little bit of we're trying to reconstitute a bigger team here in the SCORE Charlotte group for for simple steps. So any pointers? I know, Barbara, I've seen your name down before. So any pointers you have, feel free to share with us, because I'm sure you've probably been through a lot of these sitting from the library side.
I get Keith fairly often.
Oh, Keith Laibson, yeah,
Yeah, I get Keith fairly often, fairly often.
He's pretty active
Yeah.
in the program for sure.
Now that it's gone statewide rather than just the Charlotte chapter, one of the things that they seem to jump on for my part of the presentation, at least, is that the databases that I present, some of them are statewide and are offered through NC Live, and some of them are very specific to certain libraries that choose to pay for them.
Right.
And those things can be a little bit hairy to navigate.
Right.
As to which things do you have access to? Can you get to them, either from your home library or from a library affiliated with a university close by? So that part can get a little not sketchy, but can be a little bit difficult to navigate.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you. Well, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking to Yolanda about, is that these things are statewide. So we want to make sure that they are applicable for everybody, and that we want to try to make sure that it's simple, so that it's not so overwhelming because there's a lot of I've sat through a couple of presentations. There is a lot of information, and you know, and the clients or the attendees often can only absorb so much. So we want to make sure that it is, you know, in bite-sized chunks. I like to use Peter's analogy. He says he likes to do things that have a appetizer, not the full menu. So and that's exactly what we need for this as well. Well, let's hope that Sylvia, I think I'm gonna text her just as a reminder. David, I don't know if you're familiar with the chat feature, but you can message individuals in the chat, you know, as opposed to messaging everyone. So just a heads up about that.
Okay.
If you click that little down arrow, it'll give you options for who you want to message. If for example, you wanted to message Sylvia or whoever the presenter is. The little blue box has a little down arrow or a little, and it gives you a list of options. So I've texted Sylvia, I still haven't heard back. Got your PDF, Barbara. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So far, we have two guests. Tony and Aaron have attending this morning.
Morning, this is Tony. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
I'm a mentor in training.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
We're trainers in the process as well. So we have a lot in common.
I don't see on my end a video button. That's probably intentional. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. And Joe just arrived. Joe, welcome. Kevin just joined us. Welcome.
Hello, Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you here. You can ignore my text.
Mhm.
You have you have the deck, right?
I do. Let me go ahead
Okay.
and put it up. I have it behind my screen.
Okay, good.
Well, it's 12:30. Jim, should we go ahead and start?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well,
All
good
right.
morning, everyone. I'm David Kirkpatrick here, moderator, and we're looking forward to Sylvia being our presenter, and she'll be with us in just a moment. But we want to thank you for taking time of your busy day to share this with us. It's important to have a little guidance along the way. I certainly found that to be true in my own career, and that's one of the reasons why SCORE is a part of our community. We have it's a volunteer organization all over the country. Just here in Charlotte, we have over 95 volunteers that are ready and able to be of assistance to you as you build and grow your business. It's, as they say, it's always nice to have somebody to talk to, and that's why we're here. But we're thrilled that you have taken the time out to attend this webinar and to say that there are many others that are available to you on our website. So please keep that in mind as we go forward. But we want to thank you very much for your time today. In the chat box, if you would like to put your name and your company and a little bit about what you expect today so that Sylvia would be able to see that as we get started. Well, we'll go ahead and start. Sylvia is here. Thank you for doing this for us. We were looking forward to your presentation. She is with Personament Solutions, and the topic for today is simple steps, the process of building your own business. This is a first session, and this is a very helpful to be able to take step by step by step some guidance as to how to build your business, and that's some of our goals today. The session will be recorded, and we'll send you a slide deck after the webinar. As far as questions are concerned, this is very important that Sylvia has a chance to answer those. If you would, as we go through the presentation, put your questions in the chat box, and then as time permitted, we will have Sylvia answer those questions at the end of the presentation as we go through. Also, to let you know that Barbara Gwynn is here. She'll be presenting at the end of our session. Barbara has given up of her time from the library, basically to reinforce the fact that you have so many tools, so many resources in building your business through the local library, and she's here to do that. So, Barbara, we thank you for being here. So, Sylvia, if you're ready, we'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. As he said, my name is Sylvia Glant, and I'm going to go ahead and start by sharing my screen, and hopefully you all can see it. All right, good to go? Everybody can see it? Okay, perfect. So as he stated, my name is Sylvia Glant, and I am the owner of Personament Solutions. And so we're a consultant firm here in Fayetteville. I've been a SCORE mentor now for almost 2 years. So I've really enjoyed the journey, especially talking to the business owners from all over. And so I'm going to go ahead and dive in. So we did talk about you all going ahead in the chat and adding in your name, your business idea, and what you hope to learn today. I do see some responses in the chat, so thank you all for participating. I will address you all at the end, so if you have any questions as I'm talking, definitely make sure you take notes and write them down, and write down certain information. I will be giving you all some resources and tools that you all can take advantage of that aligns with the SCORE goal here. Okay, so SCORE volunteers are successful and experienced business owners, executives, and professionals. So I've met so many different mentors here with years and years of experience. And so if you are new to SCORE, you're trying to get to know what the community is about and what the organization is about, you're in the right place. We do offer free confidential mentoring, one-on-one sessions. We also do video, email, and in person. So if you go online and you book a mentor, those are the options that you have. Most of the time we do send you over notes, and also some of the calls are recorded, so you can't always go back and watch that information. If you are working with a mentor and you would like that information, you can make sure you state that as soon as you all start working together, just to get the best experience possible. When it comes down to our education programs, we do offer webinars, virtual and in person. So make sure you are subscribed to the mailing list so that way you can continuously get emails. There is also online resources available, and you will also notice that there are some community outreach events that will be taking place. Again, all of that information can be found on the SCORE website, depending on what area you are located in. So some of the SCORE North Carolina chapters that we currently have right now are in Charlotte, Raleigh, Asheville, Western North Carolina, North Carolina Piedmont Triad, Cape Fear region, Sand Hills, which is where I am, Chapel Hill, Durham, and Coastal Carolina. So again, you'll be able to find that information if you go to our website at www.score.org. Okay, so you just enter in your zip code and that information will come up for you. So when it comes down to our mentoring and the one-on-one roadmap that we provide, it's really important that we listen. A lot of times we want to hear what your ideas are to see exactly what you've already accomplished, what you've already tried, so that way we can give you the best feedback possible. I think it's really important to stress that the difference between being a mentor and being a business coach is a mentor is really there to listen, whereas a coach is there to coach you through the process and tell you exactly what you need to do based on their experience. We'd like to get your experiences, especially knowing what kind of resources you've already tried. It help us really drive and point you in the right direction. And so when it comes down to the one-on-one mentoring, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to basically set up your session. And that's where we'll get to know you and see exactly, again, what you've already tried. Then we want to hear what kind of business concept you have. Once you are able to convey what your business concept is, then we can establish whether or not it's a good idea or we need to go back to the drawing board. But if it's a great idea and we're like, okay, you can do this, definitely helping you or assisting you in coming up with a marketing plan, and then also providing you with any kind of resources that will help you when it comes down to marketing your business. Another big key area in business development and starting the business is also understanding finances. I was recently talking to an organization that serves North Carolina, the entire state of North Carolina. It's the Small Carolina Business Fund. And this is an organization that you can go to if you don't have the best credit. They are a CDFI, which will allow you to present your financials, your business plan, and those kind of things to get access to funding. But one of the things that I just recently learned is that along with you getting qualified for funding for this program, there are times where they're going to ask you as a business owner, do you have cash on hand? Do you have anything on standby that will allow us to justify giving you access to these funds, and then also making sure that you're able to manage it. So those are really big things, making sure that your personal credit score is where it needs to be, because you don't have to have good personal credit to build your business credit, but you will need good personal credit if you want to scale and grow and get access to more capital. So thinking about your finances and where you stand financially is going to be really important on this journey and this process of working together. So that leads us to this next session, is pretty much talking about what funding options you have. So again, SCORE is a really, really good resource for sending out information pertaining to CDFIs and financial literacy. And so making sure that you're taking advantage of those trainings that may be already on the platform, you can go back and watch, or looking for a SCORE mentor within the database that's going to be able to provide you that information one-on-one. while there are funding opportunities available, there's also grant opportunities out there as well. And so if you are a business owner looking for grants, I will also check NC IDEA, which is a great tool for business owners, especially if you are one who hosts events and have classes for entrepreneurs. They do have a rolling grant that you can qualify for every 60 days, up to $5,000, just depending on what your initiative is, okay? So once we decide whether or not you are a good candidate for moving forward as a client, then we start the mentorship and building the plan, so that way we can really roll out what your business idea is going to be. So hope you're ready. We're going to dive into the presentation. I just really want to give you all a quick spiel and overview of what the SCORE organization is about, so that way you will feel a little bit more comfortable. Let your hair down. So again, we're going to answer the questions at the end, but I can go ahead and tell you the funding resource was NC IDEA. NC IDEA is a organization that gives grants. They have micro grants. They have like I said, the event grant that you can apply for every 60 days, just depending on when your event is going to be. And so what you'll learn today here in the Startup Basics presentation, you'll learn about the workshop benefits, the myths and realities of entrepreneurship, critical success factors, knowing what your options are, components of business ownership, making it legal, business plan basics, including library data insights and self-assessments, as well as the next steps that you'll take for your business. Okay. So some of the benefits of this workshop, it will help you develop your feasibility plan. It also takes you through the decision-making process. It will also provide you with the information to help make a go or no-go decision on your business idea. So sometimes we can talk about ideas and we have really grand ideas, but what we have to make sure is those ideas are scalable and that they're going to lead to you having a profitable business. And then also it will have the core information to create a complete business plan for bankers and investors. And so what that means is when you are going into financial institutions, you want to make sure that you have a plan together that's going to make sense. People want to know if they are investing in something, how can they get a return on their investment? How can I make my money back? And also one thing that a lot of business owners miss, and I know this because I'm also a facilitator for the Fayetteville Cumberland Entrepreneur Hub. So that is a hub here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, that's open to all entrepreneurs. But I teach a class there, and a part of that class is making sure that business owners have an operating agreement, that you know what a profit and loss statement is, that you know what a balance sheet is. So knowing what those documents are and not hearing those terms for the first time in front of a lender or a banker is going to be really helpful for you. And so again, that document that you may need in banking situations is going to be called a operating agreement. And so if you don't have an operating agreement currently, definitely look into I know Rocket Lawyer is one that a lot of business owners do look for to be able to generate that document for them, but that is going to be a key resource for you. Then also it's going to give you the key directions you need to get started, okay? So when we talk about myth and realities of entrepreneurship, I know for me, it was, I just want to be able to control my own time. I want to work when I want to work. And I didn't realize I would be working harder than I was working for someone else. So myth number one is, as an entrepreneur, you won't have to work that hard or put in such long hours. Reality is sometimes you're going to be the last person to go to sleep and the first person to wake up because projects are going to be there. And you know, that's one of the things that I hope for your business, is that you are able to really grind it out and get in the thick of it, but also eventually transition to where you can automate and delegate things within your business. And so what that means is you're going to get to a certain point where you're going to be working, but you worked yourself out to be able to say, hey, I want to hire an operations manager, or I want to hire an assistant, or I want to hire someone that can help me run my business. And so being able to work towards that is an ultimate goal and has been an ultimate goal for me as an entrepreneur. So myth number two is my product and service is unique and there's no competition. One thing that I would say as a business owner when it comes to that is you are not, I'm going to say other people are not you. Another thing that I want to say is that sometimes it's not about reinventing the wheels. It's about looking at what's already working to see how you can fit it into what you're doing. If you are reinventing the wheel at any given time in your business, and you're probably doing too much work, so if you can find or mirror a business model that's already working that's similar, you can pull bits and pieces from those business models and really see how you would like to make it work for your situation. Another myth is business owners can do everything and you won't have to pay taxes. Whew. Yeah, so I actually have been running a tax agency too for the last 3 years. Just getting familiar with how business taxes run, because one of the things for me as a business owner is I would like to know how to do things in my business first before I bring somebody in and I'm not fully educated on what it is that they're actually coming into my business to do. And so taxes is one of those things where you have to make sure that you're keeping up with, again, your profit and loss statements, that you know what your books look like, that you are actually actively doing bookkeeping, that you're not commingling funds, you're not mixing money that's personally and business all together. You're not swiping your business card to pay for your personal expenses. Another thing is making sure that you're not writing everything off. This really hurt me, I'm gonna say, probably in about year 4 in my business, whereas I went to get my taxes done and I used 2 different people. One year I used one lady and the other year I used another lady. And pretty much the first lady wrote everything off to where my business showed a negative $16,000 loss, whereas the next year I only made $16,000 in profit. So for 2 years, it looked like my business wasn't profitable or that I didn't make money. And so being able to determine how you should do your taxes is definitely going to come with tax planning. So making sure that you're talking to someone, an accountant, a CPA, to really tell you how to get the most out of taxes as a business owner. The reality is that you may not always get a refund back, but making sure that you're structuring it so that way, I call it, you have tax season every month if you want to, because, you know, whereas we were traditioned to think that tax time was the only time that we could get access to money, whereas now it's nothing to make $13, $14, $15, $20,000 in your business per month, but also making sure that you're taking care of those tax liabilities that you are accumulating, because now you're generating revenue in your business. So again, I say all that to say is whenever you are a business owner, make sure that you talk to a CPA. So then that way you know the best plan of action, because there are times where on your business you may need to show a loss, and that is where you can qualify for city grants. Sometimes when you apply for those grants with the city, they do want to see that your business is losing, because they want to have a reason to give you access to that money. Whereas, okay, you want to buy a house or you need to buy a property, you need to show a profit on your tax return. So definitely consider those options. Myth number 4 is, as a business owner, you won't have a boss. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say your customers are gonna be your bosses, but I'm gonna say if you set the standard and you set expectations, then you will have someone to answer to, because they're gonna hold you to those standards. They're gonna make sure that, hey, I got this experience last time, I think I need that experience every single time. Also, using those moments to have a trial and error and get feedback on your business, so that way you'll know how to improve. Myth number 5 is business owners get to do whatever they want. And I wish that was true. Is, again, y'all, I mentioned before, in some cases, you are the last person to go to sleep, the first person to wake up, the last person to get paid, and making sure that you are building something that's going to be sustainable. It's not going to be all about what you want to do, especially not in the very beginning. I can say that finally. So the reality is proper planning is key. So after 5 years, we have businesses who fail, right? We've heard that a lot, that some businesses are not making it past the 5-year mark. And I would say that that's because some businesses are not focused on the economic development part of your business. And what that looks like is developing partnerships, looking at what kind of affiliate partnerships you can attach yourself to continuously generate revenue. I would say in the government contracting space, just looking at how you can diversify your portfolio. I would say for me, I did not consider diversifying my portfolio within the first couple of years of my business, which caused me to almost lose everything. But had I not put my head in the game and realized, okay, I need to establish partnerships, I need to understand the capacity level that I have to build out affiliate relationships that's going to pay me residual income in my business for things that I'm already telling my customers about. So thinking about Those kind of things is some ways for you to be able to diversify your portfolio. Tapping into resources like NC Works, which NC Works is an organization that will help you employ and hire people. So whereas you're hiring people and you're paying them out of pocket, there are programs within NC Works that will allow you to do on-the-job training. On-the-job training says, I will bring this person into my company, I will hire them, but NC Works will reimburse me 75% of what I'm paying out to that customer. The other program is a WEX, which is a work experience program. With that program, they will actually pay the employee at a certain rate. When I did it over the summer, it was like $15 an hour. But they will pay that salary for you. So that allows you to free up some of your cash flow and diversify your portfolio, because now you have more money to put into something else while you're using that system. Now it does, they only allocate a certain amount of hours to each program. And so it will be based on the skill level. There's another advantage of that program is you can bring in, let's say you have a daughter or you have family members that you want to hire within your company. You can use that as a resource to do what is called a reverse referral. And basically you would create your NC Works account, have them sign up, and then they will be able to go through the interviewing process. Again, proper planning, just knowing these resources are available is going to be a game changer for how fast and how far you will go in your business. So do you have what it takes? So some critical success factors do include education, experience in the field. Also having a strong work ethic. Are you someone who makes excuses, or are you someone who gets up and get it done every day? Do you effectively manage your time? Are you do you have the ability to manage and multitask, or do you just got to focus on one thing at a time? These are 3 things that to consider as you're getting into the business world, because it's not a one size fits all. Okay. What works for someone else might not work for you. So you have to figure out what works best for you and how you're able to operate in your own capacity, in your own level, so that way you can focus on getting to your end goal without worrying about all the other distractions. So your willingness to ask for help and take advice from others. Are you going to remain coachable and teachable? Are you going to continue to network and go to events? Those are going to be some of the things that's going to make or break how you do business and how well you do business. Working in silo and working by yourself is not always good. You want to make sure that you do develop some sort of network where you can call and say, hey, I got this problem in my business, like SCORE. You can make an appointment with SCORE and I say, hey, I got this problem in my business, I need help. So rely on resources heavily and then adequate capital, making sure that you have something on standby, whether that's business credit cards, whether that's you have a line of credit, and also making sure that you're establishing a relationship with your banker. Okay. So do you have financial resources? So essential considerations. If you need things like tools and equipment, again, there are so many different resources available, but we don't know about them until, we really need them. So one of the companies that I was able to go to for tools and equipment was First Citizens Bank. I was able to get approved for computers for my business. And so now I'm able to I have about 3 iMacs in my office, but I was able to lease those equipments, and they have buyout programs. So looking into how you can acquire equipment before in a way where you can still generate revenue. Another thing is, and this might not pertain to anybody, but again, as a business owner, you have to think outside the box. There is, if you're a military affiliated, they have the MWR, which is like a recreational center on post. So here, I'm right up the street from Fort Bragg. They have where you can rent equipment. So let's say you want to start your own lawn care company. You can actually go and rent a lawnmower for like $15 a day. So there's different things, again, thinking outside the box and thinking about how can I maximize what I don't have access to with what is available here. Leasehold improvements. So that's pretty much when you're going in and you may be getting a commercial property, and you can negotiate your terms within your lease. Licenses and permits, professional fees, initial inventory, working capital reserve funds. So those are some things that you want to consider and think about as far as financial resources that you, like, again, you might not have the actual cash flow. You might be overwhelmed with the idea of starting a business, but really sitting down and thinking about how can I maximize what I don't have access to by the available resources that's out here for me now. Okay. So some financial considerations is can you or your family survive the startup phase with limited cash flow? And then also being able to calculate the total monthly cost of living. One thing that I highly advise business owners to do is to look at what your bottom line number is. And so that bottom line number is, what does it cost for me to live my life comfortably, but also be able to enjoy myself? I don't think that, and there's times where you have to cut back on savings and those kind of things, but you're not starting a business to just work yourself to death. So looking at, okay, it's my home expenses are, say, $2,500 a month. I know that's not realistic, but my home expenses are $2,500 a month, but then my business expenses are $2,000 a month. That means that $4,500 has to come into your household, your hands each month. So what are you doing within your business to make sure that happens? Okay, I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is you set up key performance indicators. These key performance indicators are going to be the driving force towards if you make your sales goals or if you miss the mark. If you need to work harder, those KPIs will tell you that you need to do that. So that is pretty much my advice on being able to come up with your monthly cost of living, and then areas where you can cut back on. If you have too many subscriptions or things that you're paying for that you no longer need, y'all, I'm gonna be honest. At one point in time, I was paying probably about $3,000 a month just in cars, right? So that means I had a Mercedes, I had a company car, I had the insurance for both of those cars, and that was just, it was ridiculous. So there are times for me where I have to tell myself now, just because you can does not mean you should. So if I can tell you anything, if you can cut back on something, look at where you can save and cut back on your business. So that way, long term, you are setting yourself up and you're not spending money that you don't have to have. Also, lowering your debt and looking at how you can pay down some things, especially when it comes down to high usage. I see that a lot for business owners, having overused their personal cards. And that's because not a lot of people are well informed on the business credit process. There's so much information out there. Again, that's one of those things that's not a one size fits all as well. So making sure that you actually understand your personal credit will take a hit as a business owner if you don't get educated on business credit. And one of the ways that we've been able to combat this on the business side for some of our clients here, or just being able to go through the coaching process, is what is called trade lines. And so when it comes down to outstanding debt, business owners, you may have high utilization. What you can do is there is, and there's different companies, it's called trade lines. And basically what it does is it allows you to piggyback off of someone else's good credit. So whereas, I'll give you an example. We had someone who had $800,000 in debt. This person that had $800,000 in debt was a doctor. So of course they had all these student loans and all these credit cards, because again, they were not informed on business credit either. So we were able to get them a trade line. The trade line had to be around $40,000 as far as the credit limit. So then that way we can help drive down his usage. And when we got the trade line for the $40,000, it went on his credit as if it was his account, which then in turn strengthened his credit limit history. And then also it lowered his credit usage. His credit score went up about 80 points, and then he was able to qualify for $25,000. So those are some of the strategies and things that you can use in order to, I would say, to free up some space, because what you want to be able to do is take the debt that you're acquiring under your business and make your business responsible for that and not your personal any longer. Once you know better, you do better. And so that was just one of the things that we were able to show and share with him. Then also making sure that you're saving, again, because when you go to these CDFI companies, they're going to be looking at those, how you're saving, and then also the total amount needed to cover for the next 6 to 12 months. So if you've already calculated what your bottom line expense is, now you know how much money I need to make and have in reserve over the next 6 to 12 months as an entrepreneur and business owner. So knowing your options. So if you're starting a business from scratch, some advantages is not hampered by previous reputation or technology of existing businesses. You can choose your own location, your name, your logo, build your own relationships, and explore new market directions. Some disadvantages are no existing customers base to build on. You're taking a bigger risk, and also you don't have a track record. So it might be difficult getting financing. So if you're buying an existing business, some advantages of that is established clientele and suppliers, known location. The business is a known quantity with proven formula and name. You can review the financial records if you are buying a business. And I ran into this where the local women's business center was able to advise me on it. If you are buying a business, you also want to request their financials. So that way you can make sure the business is a profitable business. An example of that was there was a business here they were going out of business. They were a selfie museum, and for some reason they wanted to sell the whole business. It was pretty sketchy, but I'm like, okay, well, I have a content space now. Let me look into, seeing if this is something I want to do. Come to find out the business wasn't profitable. The space that was in wasn't profitable. They were paying around $3,000 or $4,000 a month in rent. And so just being able to really see that and go through that experience, it allowed me to be like, okay, well, next time I run into this, I know what to look for. Also, making sure, and since the business has a track record, it may be easier to obtain financing. So if they have good financial track record or good relationships already, it may be easy to make that transition. So some of the disadvantages is potential hidden issues. So they might have debt, poor reputation, loyalty to their owners, out-of-date inventory or transfer issues, and does the business have a good reputation? So reputation management is going to be really big. Is inventory obsolete? And will you have any employee issues? And is there no guarantee? And there's no guarantee the company will be successful. So those are some of the disadvantages when it comes to buying an existing business. If y'all have any questions, again, make sure that you're writing them down so that way I can answer them at the end. I think we have a little bit more slides to go, so I gotta hurry up. I think we have someone else coming after me. So also buying a franchise, there are advantages there. So you become part owner of a proven system, the market and sales power of the franchisor. They provide training normally and professional guidance, and then also continued consulting relationships. So access to other franchisees for help. Some of the disadvantages there is limited freedom to making your own decisions and not always your own boss. You pay ongoing royalty and other fees. You also are entering into a binding contract that limits your exit options. Franchisor problems are your problems. Okay. Let's see, I went down too much. Okay, so if you are starting a home-based or remote business, some advantages of you having a home-based business is a convenient work location. You have less overhead, a flexible schedule, tax advantages because you can write off a certain square footage of your home, and then hire people anywhere in the US or the world. Some disadvantages are you do face zoning or deed restrictions, isolation from others, difficulty finding finances, and family distractions. Some cities, when they enter these programs that they have too, if you have a home-based business, then you may not qualify. They want you to have a brick and mortar in some cases. But before you get a brick and mortar, you always want to check zoning and make sure that you're actually allowed to do the kind of business that you're doing within that area. When it comes down to online businesses, you have lower startup costs, you growing consumer acceptance to shop online, expanded geographic reach, convenience and accessibility for customers who can shop 24/7, flexibility for you to do business. And then also the disadvantages is low barriers to entry equals more competition. So you have to get people to see you while you're online. And also consumers have higher expectations, are less tolerant of problems, no personal contact, limited sensory info for customers. Okay, so making sure if you are online business, you have chargeback and refund policies in place as well. When it comes down to nonprofits, some advantages of you having a nonprofit is you may qualify for government or foundation grants, protection from liability for directors and employees. You can pay salaries to employees and consultant fees for contractors. Some disadvantages are you must have focus on educational or charitable purposes and not profit. Those who created the organization. All profit remains within the organization, and then you must apply for and qualify for a 501c3 status or sales exemption. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, if you do have a nonprofit, it may be beneficial to also start a for-profit business, but that is something that you can ask questions about, and we can talk about later. And then so when it comes down to you having your business, how many hats will you wear? So what you all see right here is what is called an organizational chart. And so whereas it's just us, the CEO, you have to also consider all of these other departments and how you plan on building those out. Okay. And so this is the amount of hats that you will wear as a solopreneur or someone just starting out, unless you are in a financial position where you can go ahead and start hiring out these people. And now you gotta decide whether you want to do them as a contractor or if they're going to be employees. There's a fine line between contractor and employee. So you may say someone is a contractor, but the Department of Labor may say that they are an employee. So make sure you really pay attention to that part as well. So when it comes down to your business, also what's going to be important for you is branding. So name recognition, making sure that people can recognize your name and it's something that they can remember. Qualifications of the product and service, market identity, advertising, target audience, and who is your consumer. So looking at who's there to buy your products, where do they shop? Do they have kids? Are they married? Those are going to be some things that you're going to ask yourself, okay? So when it comes down to marketing, strategies used to create a desire to purchase, create and promote your image and build your brand, and your product or service will not sell itself. So this is also covered in detail in workshop 3 for the marketing plan, which should be coming up. Some of the other things is just making sure that you know your customer, that you know who you're talking to, okay? Sales, so you make sure you have contact and connect with your customers. So maybe you're thinking about using a CRM, which is a client relationship management tool. So a tool that's going to allow you to be able to talk to your customers, send them text messages, send them emails, communicate via social media, looking at what kind of sales pipeline are you going to be using, finding prospects, making presentations, prepare bids, close deals, and process orders. Okay, I highly recommend you as a business owner, even if you're able to use AI or an AI tool to generate you a short video, but actually creating you a YouTube channel as well and making a 1-30-second video and putting that on YouTube. That's also going to be a good search engine to drive people back to you. So do you have the skills? Are you weak in any areas of your business operation? Can you take a course to improve your skills? If there are duties that don't fit your skills, can you hire employees, take on a partner, or outsource these tasks? Even if you are skilled in all these roles, you won't have time to handle all of them, okay? So whereas for me, I was skilled in a lot of areas, but it was too heavy for me to try to do everything and be everything in my business. So at some point, you have to realize, again, how to automate and delegate tasks in your business, okay? So your products and services, you're looking at who needs it and why do they need it and how is it different or better than the competition. So that's why I was telling you to look at what your competition is doing or looking at what other businesses are doing and do some research and pull what works for them and what doesn't, what you like and what you don't like. Also looking at your location and your price. So consumer reaction, your costs, your competition, credit terms, and discounts. Sometimes you can get accounts that will allow you to do what is called net 30 terms, which means you don't have to pay those invoices until about 30 days. You want to do it before the 30-day mark, but that allows you to build up your cash flow, make money before you actually have to spend it. So other critical factors is understanding your competitors. So looking at the size of their operations and the number of employees they currently have, price and qualify, the services that are provided, the reputation. So looking at the strengths and weaknesses of that reputation, personal visits and observations, suppliers and contractors. Can you convince the consumers that you are superior? Okay. So while we're talking about starting a business and looking at all of the fun stuff, we also want to consider I would say the biggest, most important piece is how is your entity formed? Are you operating as a sole proprietorship? Because if you're operating as a sole proprietorship, your personal credit and your business credit is all the same. There's no way to separate it. The only way you can build business credit is if you do have a partnership, limited liability company, if you're taxed as an S corp, and those kind of things. So some people is like, hey, I'm a sole proprietor. I want to build business credit. You can't. There's no way to separate your business from your personal if you haven't established a legal entity just yet. So keep it simple, sole proprietorship or partnership if a liability or taxation is a concern, an LLC or an S corporation might be an option. So that means now that you're going over to that phase, you've separated your personal from your business, as long as you don't commingle funds and risk being sued, where they can pull your bank statements and say, hey, well, we've seen you went to Walmart. What did you buy? It was something personal, then you pretty much messed up the legal, I'm gonna say the liability factor of even starting an LLC. So really important that you don't commingle funds. Government regulations, so making sure that you have your business license and approvals, your labor, knowing the labor laws, your immigration laws, IRS and Social Security withholding payments. And typically, if you have a payroll system, they will help you with making sure that you have that kind of stuff set up as far as the withholdings and when it comes to payroll. So insurance considerations, you're gonna make sure you have property, liability, motor vehicle if you have a car, excuse me, umbrella liability, workers' compensation, health, life, business interruption, and professional liability. I can give you a personal experience on the insurance portion. Maybe 3 years ago, our building caught on fire. And what I didn't realize is that even though my building caught on fire, and even though I was required to have insurance per my lease, I only got the minimum amount of insurance that was required for the lease, which didn't cover me for the fire. So whereas if I would have been covered for the fire, they would have paid me for the days we couldn't come into the office. If any of my equipment was damaged, I would have got compensated for that. And so when you are talking about too, entering into a commercial lease, those are the kind of things you want to consider as far as insurance liabilities, to make sure that you're covered all around, that you're not just covering a leasing office, but you're also covering you as a business owner. We were not able to work for about 2 months because of the smoke in the building. So that was definitely a lesson learned. And so when it comes down to business plan basics, you want to make sure that you encourages an objective view. So making sure that you know exactly what your business plan is, what your goals are. It also becomes a foundation for planning, and it's a powerful management tool. I would tell you that a lender, loan officer would rather see I would say a 3 to 4 page business plan than you paying someone to build you a 50 or 60 page business plan and you have no idea what's in that business plan. A business plan is built according to where you currently are in your business, not this $100,000 goal that you think you need, but looking at really how can I allocate these funds to help me grow my business, and how can I convey this to the person that's reading my business plan that I'm serious and I understand my numbers. Okay, so it's a powerful management tool. It communicates your the ideas that you have as an owner, and it's critical if you need outside funding. So business plan contents, you want to have your table of contents, your executive summary. Section 1 is going to be the business. Section 2 is going to be the financial forecast. And section three is going to be the supporting data. Okay, those are the key areas. As a business owner, other things, and they call this your bail team in a way. So you want to make sure you have a banker. So that's you making a relationship with your banker. Also making sure you have a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer currently, there are resources such as Legal Shield. As a business owner, it's about $49 a month, and you can get access to an attorney that can advise you, review documents, sends demand letters, and I believe the document review is up to 16 pages. And so again, if you can't afford to have a lawyer on retainer, that is a resource that you can use. Again, it's called Legal Shield. Also making sure you have an accountant, an insurance agent, and a business mentor. Business mentor being a SCORE mentor. They're completely free. You can go online and find someone. Even if you go online and you don't see what you're looking for that you need help with, the area that's covered under SCORE has so many different mentors that we can find you the right person that will be able to assist you. Okay, so small business readiness self-assessment. Okay, so a quick self-assessment will indicate strengths and areas to work on with your mentor and other associates. So 10 minutes to fill in and score, and 5 minutes to share some. Don't think we have time for this. I'm going to check with the moderator and see if we should move forward with this, or is everything, are we good to go for questions?
We can go ahead and take a moment with this if you'd like.
Okay. All right. So again, with this assessment, so what we're looking at, if you can, what you want to do, you want a range of score, should be 0 to 10 per question. So assign more points to indicate the readiness and less if you still need help. So when it comes down to question number 1, it says my product's service is servicing an unmet need. So Are you starting something new, or is it something that's already been done? So we want to do a 0 to 10 rating. Okay, so the next one is my product and service. And are they allowed to come off mute and answer if they want to? I know we have about 20 people here.
Yeah, it'd be better not to.
Okay, okay. So number 2, my product and service could be expanded to gain additional customer groups. Again, you are scaling yourself from 1 to 10. Then your market identification. I know who my potential buyers are. So do you know who you're selling your customers to, or are you just still trying to figure that out? Also, I have a clear value proposition for my potential buyers. So you know how to tell your buyers why they need your product. Again, this is from 0 to 10. And then implementation. I know what it will take to start my business. Number 6, I know what it will take to run my business. Okay. And then funding. I understand what it will take to obtain funding, and I have a plan to fund my business. Again, this is one of those areas where business owners really don't understand, just because you want to make sure you're able to generate a profit and loss statement. You want to make sure that you have some kind of accounting software, which I started off using Wave Accounting. It's very low cost. I think it's like $16 a month in comparison to QuickBooks, where QuickBooks is around $50 or $60 a month, depending on what plan you get. Also, making sure that you have the mental capacity, that you're personally ready. So I'm ready to work hard to achieve my business goals. I understand the challenges ahead and have a plan to tackle them. So these are some of the things that if you score yourself on, depending on what your score is, it's definitely going to tell you whether or not you're ready. I do hope that you all were able to follow along and kind of write down where you are, because the next slide is going to tell us. Oh, no, it doesn't. I thought it was going to tell us like the points, but definitely the higher the points, the more ready you are. The lower the points, you might have some areas of improvement there. Okay. So testing your business ideas, access to 4 simple steps programs. And so this is the link if you all can take a screenshot, or if you're able to, well, we're going to send this to you, so you'll be able to see it. So this was session 1, startup basics. So I hope you all learned some valuable information, some resources that will help you in the startup phase. And I do appreciate you all's time. So what's next? You're going to make sure that you take a survey and determine, is your business ready for startup? Then 2, do you need help in one or more areas? You may want to defer your decision about going into business for yourself for now, but don't give up on your dream. Work with a SCORE mentor to fine-tune your idea. 3, is your business plan complete and compelling? Number 4, is your funding business forecast complete and realistic? And number 5, if you are already in business, you might still need help on one or more areas. And number 6, use all the tools SCORE has to help you level up your plans or existing business. And then number 7, sign up for a SCORE mentor. Thank you all for having me, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Sylvia, thank you so much for your presentation. If you hang on just a minute, would like to give Barbara an opportunity from the library to talk about those resources. And this would also give those folks attending a chance to maybe think through, I should have asked Sylvia this question. So put that in your chat box. And then after we have a short presentation from Barbara, Sylvia, if you could answer some of those questions at that time, that would be great. So, Barbara, the floor is yours.
Here, my name's Barbara Gwynn. I am a librarian here at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, and I'm going to talk about some of the databases that are available to you to help you populate your business plan. And we're going to start off. Let me share my screen with you guys so that we can get you guys started. So the thing that I want to share with you guys is I'm with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, and because I'm with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, some of the databases are specific to us, but a lot of them are ones that you have access to regardless of where you are within the state. A lot of these are available to you through the nclive.org, which is a database, a family of databases that are provided to you through the North Carolina General Assembly to every single library in the state of North Carolina. So these are paid for by your taxpayer dollars that have been provided to you through every single library in the entire state. So if you have a library card, and if you have any library card from any single library anywhere in the state, you can access these. So if you go to any library, so if you go to nclive.org, so it's N as in North, C as in Carolina, LIVE.org, you can get to several of these databases, and I will tell you which ones are NC Live databases and which ones my particular library subscribes to and pays extra for, and several other libraries do pay extra for. And I will tell you which ones are which. So today we're going to pretend like I am starting up a business of my own, and mine's going to be a pet business. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. All right, let me get going on here. Yeah. All right, computer, come on. Come on. Here we are. What are we doing? Wait. What? Okay. Hold on a second. Let's go to the other end. I've got multiple screens, unfortunately. Here we go. Why should I have your library card? Okay. So we have database, we have resources that help fill your data gaps. And as you said earlier, you need to have business data, you need to have forecasts, you need to be able to fill in the gaps in your business plan. So, and you've already paid for it with your tax dollars. So nclive.org is not just for business. It also, you are not a monolith. You have other interests. It isn't just business, it's business support. If you're serving an immigrant community or hiring from an immigrant community, and it also has language learning resources. Or if you have children, it also has homework support for students. So it has all kinds of databases that can help you. It has 90 databases that has over 1.8 billion articles and streaming videos and ebooks and more. And today we're going to look at an example of my pet thing. So I'm going to pretend like I have a pet, and I'm going to open a pet supply store, and we're going to start with the database ABI Inform. ABI Inform is available to all of you through NC Live, and when you go to nclive.org, it's going to ask you to identify what library system you're with. So are you with New Hanover County? Are you with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library? Are you with Wake County? And then it's going to ask you to probably type in a library card number that's on the back of your library card in order to access and authenticate in. So ABI Inform has market research reports, and it has trade journals, and it has all kinds of industry information. So in the industry information, it comes out with quarterly industry reports that gives you sales and marketing and industry growth and issues and challenges in different industries and trends and opportunities. And those kinds of things will help you to populate your business plan. So that you can give all kinds of information to your financiers so that you can get the money to fund whatever it is you need for your business. But that one, these reports are put out quarterly, and you can get your industry drivers, critical issues. And something that I want to bring to your attention is over here in the lower left-hand corner is the NAICS code, NAICS code, and the SIC code. As you're doing business, these are some codes that will come in handy to you. NAICS stands for North American Industry Classification System, and SIC stands for Standard Industrial Classification. And what these are numbers that are assigned to a certain type of company. And it's kind of like Puffs versus Kleenex. They do the same thing, but they are numbers that are assigned. So a restaurant in NAICS code might be 12345, and a restaurant in a SIC code might be 87456. They do the same thing, but they're going to be a different number assigned to a particular type of company. And a company can have multiple. For example, the Walmart down the street probably has 20. So because the Walmart down the street has a bakery, that's one code. It sells paint, that's a different code. It sells clothing, that's a different code. It has groceries, that's a different code. It has maybe an auto department, that's a different code. So one kind of store can have 15 or 20 different SIC or NAICS codes. Find out what that code is for whatever it is you want to do. That will come in handy for you later on as you are doing research into the type of company that you're going to open. It will come in handy as you are on your journey trying to find out information. Figure out what the number is for your company, both NAICS, 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 and the SIC code for your company. Find out both. It will come in handy eventually down the road as you are doing research. So this is ABI Inform Collection is the name of the database that is contained within the website nclive.org. Okay. And then the next one that we're going to go into is another database. It's called Data Axle Reference Solutions. This database is used kind of like, if you're old enough to remember the Yellow Pages, it is used for brick and mortar type companies, and it helps you find out where are companies, where physically are companies, and more about those companies. It will tell you, this is just what I'm showing you here is very, very basic information about a company, but it will go into very detailed information. It'll tell you the SIC code, it'll tell you the NAICS code, but it'll also tell you approximately how many people work there, approximately what is the square footage of this location, approximately how much they make. Now they have a formula to figure out approximately how much they make. It'll tell you what the executive's name are. They have, if what you can do is you can search by SIC code, you can search by as small as a a half-mile radius of a particular area, as large as the entire country. But what you can do is, if I wanted to open this pet store, I want to know where are the pet stores in Mecklenburg County, where I'm located, so that I can make sure that I'm not putting my pet store right next door to another one. So I'm going to search for all the pet stores in Mecklenburg County. And so I'm doing my search, finding where they physically are, and making a list of them. And I can export this into Excel. Okay. So I am going to look for, I'm going to do my search and download it. And I can also put it into a map. And when you look into these, when you look up these kinds of lists, you can put them in Excel, you can put them into a map. And as you see, I can map where are these, and I can see where are they physically in Mecklenburg County, so that I can pick where I want mine to be. Okay. So if I were, let's say, for example, if I were selling the best new chew bone for a dog, I can also say, where do I want to go to sell my thing? So if I can decide I want to find all the pet stores in my area to sell it. So I can use it conversely, not just where do I want to place my store, but where do I want to distribute my product? Okay. So these are both in nclive.org. That is free to everybody in North Carolina. The next one I'm going to go into is called Simply Analytics. This is one that my library pays for for extra, but some of the other ones in North Carolina also pay extra to get. For example, Greensboro Public, High Point Public, Duke and ECU and UNC also pay extra for it. And you can gain access, because if you go into a library, you can usually just use their computers while you're there. And if there's one close by, check your library and see if they also subscribe to it. And I'm just giving you examples of some libraries that get this particular database, okay? These are simply, and the last database showed me where the companies are. This database shows me where the people are who spend the money on the products. So this is showing me where, by the color of the darker the red, the more money that people are spending on pet products. So you can look at the customers and where they're spending money. And I want to put my pet store where people are spending money. Okay. So these are prospective customers spending money because I want to make it easy for them to spend money on my products. Okay. But if I'm not a visual learner that way, I can also bring it up in a chart format. And I can use those numbers in my business plan to support why it's important to have a pet store in this area. And put that in the data to support why you should finance my pet store in this area. So far I've got information from my 3 databases that there is 500 million in sales. There are however many competitors. I've got how much per competitor, and I can put all of this data in my business plan to say, I need to open a pet store. It's a vital part of this community that I need to supply. There is a demand. I need to supply that demand. And I can use those 2 maps that I created and put them side by side in my business plan and say, hey, look, there's an area in Charlotte that doesn't have a pet store, that does have a high dollar. You can see by this dark red that lots of people are spending money in this area and they don't have a pet store. And when you identify a likely area, you can break it down by using simply analytics. You can break it down even further to look at those people and decide, how am I going to then market the information? So if I'm, for example, doing social media, do I want to aim it towards the TikTok kind of demographic? Do I want to aim it towards the Instagram kind of demographic? Do I want to aim it towards the Facebook kind of demographic? Based upon their ages, who do I want to aim it towards? What is it? What is my product? Who do I want to aim it towards based upon who lives in that particular area? Because I can get it down as far as a census tract using simply analytics. Okay. So I've decided who my audience is. So what am I going to say to that audience using my social media or my marketing or whatever it is I'm doing? Well, I can use a database, which again, this one is available to everybody via nclive.org. Master File Premier is the name of the database in nclive.org. And I can look at some articles so I can have some authoritative words to say. So these are magazine articles saying, okay, I carry this brand of pet bed, and this brand of pet bed is shown to be, I don't know, ergonomic and orthopedic for my pet and is the best kind of pet bed on the planet. And I can say that this is awesome. Or I can say that that pet ownership, I'm having a pet adoption event, and pet ownership is linked to a healthy outcome for cancer survivors. Come and adopt a kitten this weekend at my pet adoption event. So I can say things in my social media posts or in my marketing from the articles that I'm getting out of these authoritative articles from Master File Premier. All right, so those are some databases that I'm getting from nclive.org. Now the next 2, the Charlotte Business Journal and the Charlotte Observer, are ones that are very local to here. but look at the ones that are available in your area. For example, the Triangle Business Journal, the Wilmington Biz Magazine, if you're living in that area. Go to your own business journals in your own area. Go to your own magazines and newspapers for your own area. Go to your own libraries and see what they have available in your area. These are ones that are available in my area that are available through my library's website that we subscribe to. And these are two more that my library subscribes to. But for example, LinkedIn Learning, when we spoke earlier about, do you have the skills to do whatever it is you need, for example, with keeping up with accounting. LinkedIn Learning, which used to be known as lynda.com, has training on different kinds of computer softwares. And they do have trainings on things like QuickBooks, but they also have Microsoft Office products like Excel. And they also have trainings on how to build a website. And they also have trainings like social media marketing that are available. And these are available to Charlotte-Mecklenburg library card holders, but they're also available in Durham County and Buncombe County and Granville counties and several others. So take a look and see if they're available in your county. If you're weak in an area, you can build up your skills. And Universal Class is, again, one that we subscribe to, but they also have that one available in Cabarrus and Neuse Regional and Haywood County and Onslow and Durham County and Craven-Pamlico counties. Universal Class has trainings on internet marketing, accounting, sustainable development, job performance appraisals, business budgeting, branding, Six Sigma, QuickBooks. They have all kinds of trainings available there too. So check with your own library and see what they have available. Also, make sure that you are connecting with people who are doing the same kinds of business that you are, because those are really good resources for you. Some of the people that are in event planning, talk to the people who do event planning. The person who does furniture making, there's an International Society of Furniture Design. Make sure that you are connecting with the people to find out who the latest who has developed the latest software for furniture design, for example, so that you are on the cutting edge of what is coming up in your field of study, in your field of business. Maybe there's a conference that you want to attend so that you can stay up to date. And this Gale Directory Library is one that we subscribe to. Several other libraries subscribe to this as well, but you can also Google this. What is the society for your field of work? Find out who your people are so that you can stay up to date. And our library and other libraries throughout the state also offer one-on-one research assistance. If you have questions, book a session with a librarian in your own county or here in Mecklenburg County so that we can help you if you have a specific question with whatever piece of data you're trying to find. We can help you get to a particular piece of data. If we don't know the answer, we can usually make a good referral to get you to where you need to be. And of course, we have business books, audiobooks, downloadable books, and e-audiobooks and everything else. If you want to get a library, if you don't have a library card in Mecklenburg County, you just need a photo ID. If your photo ID has your current address on it, that's all you need. If your photo ID does not have your current address on it, you do need something that shows your Mecklenburg County address. If you don't live in Mecklenburg County, it does cost $45 per year to get a Mecklenburg County library card. If you're not a property owner here, you can get a library card that way. Or you can use any of these databases by physically coming here and just using the computers while you're sitting in the building. You don't have to have a library card to do that. You can always come and use any of our databases while you're sitting in the building for free. Just come on down, just show your ID and you'll get a guest pass to use our computers. Let me know if you have any questions.
Barbara, thank you so much. I think we have got an understanding that there's an awful lot available to us. And I like your suggestion on find a librarian that can help you with this, because I'd be the first one to ask for the librarian. So do take advantage of that. And Barbara, we appreciate your overview to give us an idea of what is available. Sylvia, we've had a little time now and we've gotten some more questions in. Let's take a few moments for your answers, please.
Okay, perfect. So the questions are in the chat. I know someone asked what was the name of the funding resource that I gave. And so that was NC Idea. NC Idea is, again, they have micro and mini grants, and then they also have a rolling event grant that's up to $5,000. And so we were actually someone was actually able to win that recently to be able to do a pitch competition. So where the prizes was $1,000, $500, and $250, NC Idea actually sponsored those winnings. So they were able to do that competition. Let's see if we have any other questions. Let's see. So we did have someone here, Deja says she's the owner of 716. I hope to learn more about what I need to begin a nonprofit. So we did kind of touch on that. Again, if I didn't answer your questions, maybe best to schedule a mentor call with a SCORE mentor that's more well-versed on the nonprofit sector. But yeah, I did mention making sure you have a nonprofit and a for-profit, so that way you can kind of offset the two. Highly recommend that part. Let's see. You're welcome, Deja. Stephanie and Gracie doing a therapeutic stretching business, just getting started, needing all you got. I tried to give you all I got this in my little bit of time. Let's see. Okay, someone said, I'm starting a business selling a planner for PhD students, working on their dissertation along with selling a mini course and doing some independent consulting. I'm currently piloting the product and hoping to launch in the summer. Sounds good. Digital products are really good if you know how to market them and run ads. I would give some feedback on that process if you are looking to sell some of your planners and that kind of thing. You can look into running Facebook ads. You can start the ads at maybe $5 a day, or I would say $30 a day. Drop it down once you reach the amount of people you want to reach, and then take it down to $5. That'll give you some longevity as far as your reach to reach some customers there for that product. Okay, so we have someone named Tony. Tony says, I'm a mentor in a training area in Charlotte. I did see someone say they were interested in becoming a mentor. Joe McLeish, look interested. Okay. So Xavier said, advice for a startup real estate photographer. I'm a trained photographer, but not real estate, who is looking to build a portfolio and scale. I would say reach out to different firms to see if you did like a pitch deck on your services, or something that you can send over to them, so that way they can see your service before they actually meet you, and then ask for a warm introduction. Another place that you could do that is probably LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really good for making those professional connections and being able to show your expertise there. Let's see if we have anyone else. Kevin says, starting up a small furniture making business. I don't really have any feedback on that. Anybody want to say anything about that? Let's see. Really looking at how unique your furniture business can be, again, because you don't want to get to a point where you're reinventing the wheel. So if you have uniqueness with what you're doing, definitely make sure you use that as a driving force on selling your product. Maybe being able to do a little storytelling along with the marketing side of things. Let's see, event planning. So Sarah says, just formed an LLC for event planning. Little do you know, in the event planning space, there's a lot of room for government contracting. So connecting with different government agencies to be able to offer your services is going to be really big. So making sure that you have a capability statement. You don't know what a capability statement is, I would highly recommend contacting any kind of government agency. Like SBTDC is really good for those services. Again, that's SBTDC. And they can help you with the government contracting space and just getting some more information on that. James said, I love to sell my plants, veggies, bee products at the local farmers market, and I need a legal business in order to do so. And I have zero experience with the business. So I know for us here, at Fayetteville Tech Community College, they have different resources that will allow you to get information on starting your own like beekeeping business or veggies and those kind of things. So you might want to check with your local community college to see what kind of resources they have available to help you. They may have some people that have an area expertise there. And I think I got through everybody.
Well, Sylvia, we appreciate you taking time out to answer our questions. And you've done this several times before, so I have one more question for you.
Okay.
From the other classes that you have, what's one question that you typically get every time that we haven't touched on so far?
I would say the biggest thing is just about business credit and how to build capital. Really getting access to capital is one of those things. I actually have a training coming up at Fayetteville Tech Community College this week on the 20th called Access to Capital. So that has been one of my most asked questions, just because people don't really understand how to do it. It doesn't make sense that I have to build business credit and I also have to have a personal credit score to separate the two, and then also understanding that your personal credit score determines what you can get access to. And so that's one of the concepts that people are still trying to work through. And I would say, because a lot of times when you're doing business, especially for me, I've gotten to the government contracting space, you have to have capital and something on standby in order to sustain while you're waiting to get paid. But that was one of the ways I was able to diversify my portfolio, as well as getting into the government contracting space.
Sylvia, thank you so much. Barbara, thank you for participating today. I think for all of us who are building a business, sometimes it's a lonely thing. And one thing that SCORE does for you is give you a partner, somebody that'll walk the journey with you and help you in any way they can. And just as Sylvia had mentioned, when you have a mentor, if there's one area that they're not specializing in, we've got other mentors that can also help you. So it's the type of thing that with all the volunteers that we have, just know that we're all here for your success, to walk that journey with you. And we really appreciate your time this morning that we have an opportunity to do this. Please check the website at SCORE for other webinars that will be coming up in the future. But Sylvia, Barbara, thank you again for your time this morning. It's been a wonderful session, and hope everybody have a good day. Thank you.